Alright, so I checked the diesel in here. It smells a little funny, but it seems pretty clean in the tank. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and drain as much of this out. And if there's a drain valve on that pump over there. I don't think the light's going to be very good, but I'm going to go and see. This is possibly a drain valve. I think I've located a drain valve. Let me open the field and see what happens. Gee whiz. Everything is seized on this thing. Well, after much deliberation, the old valve just broke off. I put that on for now, and then I realized that I'm completely low on fuel down there. It's below the pickup, strangely, and so I'm just siphoning this nasty stuff out. I should get actually a lot of it out, and then I'm going to put in some fresh diesel if I have enough, actually. Now that I have access to this line, this is the flare that feeds the pump. I could just maybe put a hose over that for now and just make some kind of a plan just so I can prime it. But if I can get some light down here to show you guys. It's kind of old diesel. There's the pickup. You can see the diesel slowly coming out. So it's an old filter lying in there, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of mucky diesel over there. Unfortunately, it's at a bit of an incline, so just have to see how much I can get out. And then, there's hardly anything bigger than that. And then I'm going to see if I can get this to work. This plug I took out, I'd like to see if I can just get the old diesel out of this thing. See if we can crank it over and bleed these injectors. I'm losing sunlight fast, so I don't know if I'll get to it today. That carburetor took me all afternoon. Well, I poked the screwdriver up this hole and this black nasty tar came out, and then suddenly all this old fuel started running out, which is the beginning. I managed to slip a hose over here. It's still full of diesel, so and this should actually just run all the way down to here, but it's not. So I'm wondering if this line is out. But at least the sludge was at the bottom. This is just old fuel that's obviously draining, which I'm very happy about. And I wonder if I crack one of these injector lines, if it would speed up. Let's see. Probably not. Alright, well I guess that's the pump drained of old fuel. Now I gotta get this thing off. It's a 7.8, I think. Try and figure out why the diesel is not running. So I can at least start to attack this whole fuel system top to bottom. I'm gonna have to take this tank and flush it. There's a whole bunch of tarry black stuff in the bottom, which is real nasty. Did I crack this earlier? Oh, I think so. I just put a marine double wall rubber fuel line in here instead. I guess hard lines are probably also doable. I was gonna see if there's any flow coming in here because, oh, there it is. That new or old diesel? It's a little hard to tell with this thing. I guess I can go look up top there and see that. Why does that look like old fuel? Why would it be coming out of here? Well, yeah, that's nasty. That's looking new. That's looking like cleaner fuel, like it's coming from the top there. I certainly hope that's the case. Yeah, okay, sweet. So we're down to fresh diesel in the line, which is great. Let's see if I can get this flare off. Oh, damn it, that's tight. The whole thing looks pretty nasty. Come out of there. This thing is very, very dirty. Well, I think that's it for today. I'm very glad that I got to the fuel source. At least now I know I can come in. I'm gonna have to take this line out, make sure it's clear. Is it worth putting an inline diesel filter over here? Or is it just gonna get destroyed? Maybe with a metal box. Because, you know, there's some screens in the tank. I guess that's fine. So, anyways, it's been a long day. We've got the fuel line cracked, so I'll come back another day and see if we can bleed these injectors and get this thing running. Alright, so I gotta get this tank off so I can flush it and slush some stuff around in there. And it seems like I got the fuel line on the other side off. So there's just two nuts holding this whole tank on, which I'm quite surprised that I would have thought there's more on the inside, but I guess not. So let's see if we can. These Milwaukee batteries. Oh, they're only down full. Highly annoying. It's too hard to film in here, unfortunately. These nuts, the bolts don't seem to be able to come out, so I think you have to wedge the tank forward in order to get it out. The tank shift, so I think it's loose. Oh yeah, there it is. So this is how you get these out. You have to kind of go forward and angle them. Now I do have pour 15, but I don't see this tank leaking. I just think it's got some tar down here. I'm gonna just flush it and clean it. I'm thinking of putting an inline filter down here somewhere off one of these bolts, maybe with a metal plate to protect it. I would just think that's a good place for a, maybe here. I don't know, this is above the beam here, so that might give it the best protection from stuff underneath. Anyways, let's see if I can get this tank out of here. And on the ground. Actually got most of it out yesterday siphoning. Quite surprised. Actually did pretty well. There it is. Alright. It's not too terrible looking. This valve broke as well. This is obviously just to drain it. Geez, I don't know. I'll see if I have another valve there. I might redo this. I think a cap alone's enough. I don't, wouldn't really, I mean, you could just take this off into a bucket. And that was just temporary for yesterday, but I'm going to clean this all up. I would say this is just, see how it's come from the cap here, so this must just be from filling. I don't know, I could probably rig up a test and see if it holds air. But I'm going to give some of that a clean. And then maybe get a scraper actually. I think a scraper would be the way to do it. Voila. So I know there was still a little bit of diesel in here. It's not light, but it's not too bad. This is a 1942 model. Very cool. That drain valve is weepy looking. I'm going to see if I can. I have in the past thrown a whole bunch of stainless steel screws in boat tanks. They do act as little scrubbers and work pretty well, but for this we'll just get most of it out. This whole diesel fuel is turned into a kind of a sludge, so I'll just keep doing that. Get a nice block of wood. The sludge is improving. Honestly, I'm pretty sure it'll run as it is. And it's some nasty stuff coming out of there. Real nasty stuff coming out of there. It is. But it is clearing up. I can't say that much, so all we gotta do is keep going. It's literally, the gas is literally getting rid of all of the black, the tar, so that's cool. There's another seal down there. Cool. So now let's see. Wasn't quite paying attention before. Remember, you need to tilt these up. One, two, one in the back there. one of these. We are in business. I'm just gonna lightly cap this. I'm gonna redo this later on, but I do want to get some fresh diesel in here. I actually bought a new valve today, so I think I'm gonna put that on with the street, then it's ready to go in that direction. So let me go grab that quick. Okay, so get rid of this thing because anything in there? No. This was just temporary. It's all I had at the shop, so I thought this thing would flow, but it was so nasty inside. I had to go and do the flush. It actually looks pretty nasty in there too. Maybe I'm gonna just get a little brush and some gas and just clean that out. Actually, let's just see what this does. Oh yeah. That'll get picked up by the filter. Okay, so we've got a street here that was on there originally. You guys really need to get into using this prime seal. All you guys using tape. Tape just gets in filters and things. What's nice with this stuff is you can take it off and put it straight back on. So it's truly cool. It's not gonna get in your fuel system. Another option is Teflon tape. I mean Teflon paste. GM uses it on their head bolts, and it actually dries. So yeah, this is not gonna leak. I can tell you right now from experience. That's not gonna leak. Now that went down that hole over there, so I'm going to point it. And you just hope that it's going to stop in the upright position. Which it looks like we might have fortune with this one. Yep. That seems perfect to me. Oh yeah. Perfect location, I think. That seems decent to me. Couldn't have asked for a better angle than that. Okay, so now we get to the fun part where we put in some fresh diesel and hope that it reaches that screen, because I noticed there must have been a good half a gallon of diesel. It is a bit of an angle, but still. Okay. definitely be flowing now. Alrighty. We have diesel. Oh yeah, beautiful. So this looks like a 5/8 line compression, and it looks nasty. So I think what I'm gonna do is run a marine fuel line from here all the way down there, because this thing has been in there for a really long time. What was this? Mechanical oil gauge? Yeah. Okay, there's a lot of seat material down here, an old glove. That's the oil bath air cleaner. This is the compression fitting. It's like 3/4 actually. Oh, it's 1/2 inch. I think this whole fuel line is held in with mud, but it's being held in place, but it's loose, and there's a ton of this really thick mud in here, which I'm pretty sure is what's holding this thing in. Out of here. There it's coming. Actually, it's a copper line, so it's not. I must be honest, I think I'm gonna just replace this with fuel with rubber and just reuse these. That'll be the easiest. Rarely wants to at least crank this pony motor over. Very much so. Now that we have access to fresh diesel, I think it can work. So my angle of attack is going to be this. I know that I absolutely need to get a filter in here. Alright, so I have snipped off this compression fitting, cleaned that up. This is my diesel filter and fuel separator. I'm going to try and mount that somewhere over here, close to the carriage as possible, and then I'm just going to run rubber line up. I've cleaned that one up too, but the joints come off, so I'm going to have to braze that on. I guess this is what the old timer did. He just kind of steel and copper lead. He probably fluxed it, but I might either tap into this or just go with a straight 1/2 inch to a fuel line system. So I might just do away with these compression fittings. Don't really need them, especially if they've been soldered like that. Alright, so updates. This was the original fuel line. The guy had just lead soldered this into this flare nut head, and since I'm converting to 3/8, I'm just going to see how it goes. I found that a 1/4 inch pipe tap will thread reasonably well into the back of that, and so I can now just thread this in. I can either decide to Loctite it or just use my non-hardening sealer, and for a gravity feed, I think that would be absolutely perfect. I could still use the original nut. Look at that, it even goes over the the 3/8 nut. So yeah, this is perfect, and honestly there's almost no difference in the ID there. Like it's so close. I doubt it's going to make any difference. So this is going to be my fuel setup. Let me make the second one and we'll go run the line. Alright, so as you can see here, I have tapped the back of this, threaded it in. I decided to go with Loctite because obviously it's going to be vibrating and I don't want it working loose. And the nut leaves enough for a hose clamp. So it's hybrid, but you know what? I'm pretty sure it's going to work just fine. So I'm going to be very happy with that. That's all it needs to do. There it is. Now, right, so got some Permatex sealer on this 1-inch fitting. Sorry, 1/2 inch. Get that in here. Okay. Beautiful Christmas day here in Southern California. And as much as it's a time to be together with family, we always, at the core, need to understand that it's all about what Jesus did on the cross. So, oh, I just found another little oil cap here. Wonder where that goes. Wow, it's crusty in there. I'm planning to vacuum this all out today. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, we now have a connection from the tank all the way down. I have left extra room, so maybe what I'll do is, oh, that's my finger. I will just get it flowing until it flushes out anything in here, and before I go, just pop it on there. So when I hear that, we'll know. Oh, that's very long. Just reconnect this at some point, but for a gravity feed. Okay, he's flowing. It's filled up there. Let's see what kind of flow we're going to get out of this. Come on. It's going to make its way through the filter. It's open. Oh, yeah, we got solid flow out of there. Okay, so I would say that we can shut this off. Obviously has some residual in the line. We can just put that on there lightly for now. Okay, what I quickly want to do is remove this cover just to make sure that the injection plungers are not stuck. At some point I'll probably check their clearance and I'll probably do the valves on this, but for now I'd say we're getting very close. Well, I've decided, stuff it, I'm going to wing it. I'm just going to see if I can get this thing done. I got one injector that doesn't have fuel coming out, 3 of the 4, so I just wanted to see it pop, but the main motor is turning, which is great. So I'm gonna have to pop the cover up and see if we have some plungers that are stuck. But that was pretty good for an initial attempt. Everything seems to be working. Well, before I go any more, I'm gonna have to sort this mess out. Look at that. And I do know that this thing was leaking, so I'm gonna have to figure that out, and I need to check the filters. So it's probably gonna need some more work, but that's a very interesting cap. I guess that's just how they roll. Just a flat seal. I don't know how much pressure these things build up, but I'll just leave this as is for now, and we'll figure this out later. Well, had I not come in here just to see if I could pinpoint the leak, I would never have seen that the drain plug was out. So let's fill that up again and hold thumbs that we in fact do not have a leak. Alright, I'm just filling it up with water, and gave this a power wash yesterday. I couldn't get the one pump there to bleed fuel, so I'm pretty sure that plunger is stuck, so we're going to tear into that soon and slowly work our way through the system, because I'm going to try and get the pony to fire up today. I do live near the port here of LA. That's where my shop is, so that's why there's a lot of noise in the background, because it's trucks and cranes and traffic and all kinds of stuff. So it's a little dry in there. It does look a little dry, but okay. Gasket's about 30 years old, but nothing a little bit of Permatex sealer can't fix. Let's get the stuff out of the way. And now, yeah, let's see which one of these seems loose. Let's have a look. This was the one that wasn't quite. It does seem a little dry. I'm gonna have to spray some oil in there. Okay, let's do that. Well, I've taken this cover off here, and this was kind of jammed up on the throttle, but now it's a little better. It just feels like this is full throttle, and then I'm presuming like that should be idle, but it's like kind of jumping back. Anyways, I'm not 100% sure, but I can move this by hand all the way over here, but it's like it snaps back. Maybe that's throttle and this is idle. I'd have to look up. Anyways, I also seem to have a water leak now coming from below this thing, which I'm presuming is the water pump, so probably got a bad seal there. So anyways, I'm gonna see if I can get fuel to come out of this one, and if we can get that to happen, then I can try and at least get this main motor to just puff and run for a few seconds. Doesn't look like it's building fuel pressure. I'm gonna check out these filters. This thing might just be full of really old fuel, so let me get into that quick. Wow, look at that, dude. That's like spun wool or something. I have never seen that in my life. You know, it probably still works. That looks like my new diesel. Or not. Let's see if I can drain this out. I'm just gonna roll with this stuff for now. Yeah, I've got some fresh diesel over here. That's too much or not, but it does look like most of that diesel was actually from the new diesel. How much did I miss it? Oh, a lot. Oh, it's gonna go everywhere. Oh wow. Oh, that must have been real full then. Nice one, friend. Excellent. I don't even know what that wheel does, but just gonna have to roll with it. See what we can do. A rookie move. Definitely a rookie move. I'm sure there's a bunch of guys cringing, going, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. That, my friends, is entirely true. I have no idea what I'm doing. These are at about 15 foot-pounds for now, which is all I want to do. Okay, well, let's see if we can get some fuel flowing out of this thing. Okay, here we go. This thing's out of here. I love these simple old machines. Everything just makes sense when you kind of look at it. To clean this up, these holes do not look blind. I'm just going to have to be very careful. Very careful. Indeed. Not get any muck down this system. Yeah, that's loose. That's loose. That's loose. That's loose. reference lines. They have one each. They're all in the same direction. So basically what I've done now, according to Squatch, who was very kind to message me, he explained that the scribe on that flywheel is up to the installer to set, which he says there's no dowel pin on the flywheel. I have marked the scribe for 2 and 3. It's actually stamped in there. I've just made it very clear to see. And so what I did was I rotated the engine in the normal direction and had my wife come in here, and she said that this plunger was moving up as I was approaching TDC. And so this is the one we're going to set now, and the firing order is 1342. So, and let's actually see where it's at right now. It's just off it. You can see there's a little bit of wiggle room there on the plunger. So I'm going to proceed to do this, and we'll just keep going in the firing order until I've got all these guys set up. For those of you that aren't familiar, it's kind of simple, but there's a 9/16 lock nut. See there? There's one on each of these 4. You just crack it so that it's loose, and then you hold that, and I just take a flat screwdriver down the top here, and you can turn these in and out, and you have to be on the compression stroke for that cylinder, so you do it in the firing order. And I've got these all exactly like on the 1000th, so at least I know that the fueling's going to be good. I guess another approach is to take the little gears that sit under the injectors and mic them and compensate for wear. I know there's a spec on that. I'd have to go look it up. But I mean, this is not a race engine, you know. I checked mine, they were all within 1,000th of each other. So I think it's safe to say they're probably in good enough shape. So I'm just gonna get this all put back together and then see if we can run this thing. I read in the manual I'm supposed to bleed this, which I didn't know. So there's very possibly the reason why I was not getting fuel. My lines have been blown out, everything's clean, so I think we're good. So the idiot that I am didn't realize these things are matched, and I just threw them all in a box. So what I did is I just checked them all to make sure that they were all loose, and you'll find some of them are just a little tighter, but these are all perfect, and I'm pretty sure they are back to being matched. So if you do what I did, you can just figure it out like that. And from here on, it's simple. When you insert these, the little dot over there, and there's actually a scribe as well, just needs to line up on the fuel rack when you put it in. So you could probably either put this in and try and do it from the top, or you could put these in and rotate them and then shove this in together. But I'll probably hold this in place and try and get these individually. Alrighty, so I'm going to show you guys what I found works installing these guys. And yes, I sprayed them black because I don't want them to rust. But I've got the fuel rack in position. You can see the little marks are all pointing at the centers of the shafts. And what I found is, after I matched all these plungers to the injector bodies, is just find a way to get it in, slide it into the slot, and get the marks to line up. So you can see this one, I have to come in at a pretty severe angle. There we go. And then once it's in position like that, I can just take the injector body and the O-rings on there and just carefully kind of lower it over there, and she's done. So actually not terribly difficult. Right, well, I got them all on, as you can see, and the rack hasn't moved. So all I'm going to do now is put on these brackets and the little guy that holds the rack to the slot, and clean these bolts up. And yeah, wife made me a perfect little gasket here, and then it's time. I'm going to try and run this thing.